Exactly. Right. Don't worry, that'll go away. Yeah.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the graduating class of 2019, welcome to the Class Day ceremony for Harvard Medical School and Harvard School of Dental Medicine. Good afternoon, Dean Daly, Dean Donoff, Dean Hundert, Dean Saldana, Dr. Karchmer, esteemed invited speaker, Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha, fellow students, and most importantly, to you, all of our friends and family who've traveled from far and wide to help us celebrate this incredibly special day. And thank you, of course, to those of us who are joining us via live stream and couldn't make it today. My name is Jessie Holtzman, and together with Keenan and Jill, we have the pleasure of serving as this year's graduation co-moderators. This afternoon, we celebrate the accomplishments of 167 graduating medical students, now that the MBA students have been kind enough to join us, and 34 graduating dental students. We take this day to thank our classmates for teaching us their passion and their perseverance, their resilience and their resolve, their curiosity and their compassion, and most importantly, never forgetting their humility and their good humor.
Welcome and good afternoon. My name is Jillian Mulbauer, and it is a privilege to represent the Harvard School of Dental Medicine class of 2019 today. "20 years ago, I went to the dentist with a mouthful of cavities and left with the dream of becoming a pediatric dentist, along with some new tooth jewelry and a teacher for life in Dr. Nesne. Yes, she made me cavity-free, but her inspiration for my future career was more memorable, and her presence here today is a testament to meaningful mentorship. We live in a world where litigation tries to influence decision-making, and insurance reimbursement demands efficient patient encounters. Despite these pressures, may we continue to practice with the same qualities we admire in our mentors: honesty, patience, and empathy. The qualities we want to define our careers, the qualities that will indeed inspire the future generation of healthcare providers. To our parents and families who instilled in us values of respect and resilience, to our friends who forgave each missed birthday with an invitation to the next, to our patients who became our teachers, especially the ones who sat in our chair for 4 hours and came back for a second visit. On behalf of the class of 2019, I offer our gratitude.
Good afternoon.
My name is Keenan Mahan. My patients call me Doogie Howser. And it is a pleasure to serve as one of the co-moderators today. Our little group of 3 co-moderators came up with a list of roughly 1,000 people to celebrate and thank for the immense support that we've received over the past 20 or more years of school. But then I was reminded that not everybody would enjoy hearing me read names for 20 minutes, especially after I was more than 20 minutes late myself. To make things a little simpler, if you have even the tiniest feeling that your name is on our list, it is. We wouldn't be here without the love and support from all of those around us. You've made a tough journey easier and kept us going even on our hardest days. The other list we managed to put together featured some pretty interesting statistics. I regret to inform you that only 47% of today's graduates were able to complete medical school in the recommended 4 years. The other roughly half of us, myself included, took a few detours. We performed research, we worked on global health projects, and earned additional degrees from MPPs to MPHs to MBAs and 17 PhDs. We have an incredibly accomplished group of medical and dental graduates to celebrate today. As we celebrate, I think back to Match Day and anticipate that today may unleash some powerful emotions that perhaps we weren't expecting. Just ask my mom. She has the video of Chris Callahan and me crying tears of relief and joy as we opened our letters. I look forward to celebrating our amazing accomplishments today, hearing from our incredible speakers, and watching nearly 200 of us walk across this stage as doctors. And this time, I came prepared for a few more happy tears. I would now like to welcome Dr. Karchmer to the podium to welcome this new generation of Harvard Medical School and Harvard School of Dental Medicine alumni.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. I've been moved up in the program, so I'm less concerned about your bladders than I have been in past commencements, having this advanced position in the program. First, let me congratulate all of you, students, graduates, and families on a job well done. It is really tremendous to see this group, and I look forward to watching each of you cross the stage. I want to welcome you to the Alumni Association. By the end of the afternoon, you will officially be members. We stand ready to do several things, hopefully that will be of benefit to you. One is to help you maintain your connections to one another. A second is to help you maintain your connections to the school. And the third is really to facilitate HMS and the School of Dental Medicine being part of your continuing education as you go forward. You've all been teachers of one another, but as you move from student to physician, alumnus, you become a different sort of teacher. You're going to be a teacher of your patients, a teacher of your colleagues, and a teacher of future medical students. And I thought it would be fitting to pass on one word of advice, which I hadn't realized it until I was looking at the email, echoes a sentiment that Dean Daly has been commenting on. But these are some comments from Dan Fetterman, whose picture hangs in the MEC atrium and was a revered teacher over many generations here. Dan advised 3 things as you teach and mentor. One was to think out loud. A second was to keep it simple. And a third, and perhaps the most important, was never miss a chance to be kind. And I think those are good words of advice. So again, I will step aside, congratulate you again, wish you well on your journey. May you continue to be successful. We look forward to your contributions both to the school, the Alumni Association, and to medicine and dentistry in general. Good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Karchmer. It is with great honor that I introduce the Harvard School of Dental Medicine Class of 2019 speaker, Tom Ferlito. Tom was born and raised in North Andover, Massachusetts, and attended Bowdoin College, where he graduated with a degree in biochemistry. At HSDM, Tom is known for his extensive sports knowledge, carefree attitude, and uncanny ability to make a joke on my behalf. While at HSDM, Tom has developed his interest in dental innovation and currently has a patent pending for an appliance that influences the oral microbiome. Tom will continue his training next year at HSDM with a residency in orthodontics. His remarks are titled, "What Happened Here?" Please join me in welcoming my classmate and friend, Tom Ferlito.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you to my wonderful class for giving me this opportunity today. I was 2 years old when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and I was 12 years old when I received my first insulin pump. Being about 100 pounds, the adult needle Dr. G told me to inject in my abdomen every 3 days looked far too big to me. I soon learned to hate it. Most of the injections hurt, but I feared that one day I would really choose the wrong spot to place it. I was 13 years old when I did. Lying on the bathroom floor with the needle stuck, collapsed in pain as my birthday party carried on downstairs, I bit my finger so I wouldn't yell as I ripped it out. The worst part wasn't the pain. It was having to stand up and inject it again. I remember composing myself afterwards and apologizing to my friends for keeping them waiting. I remember how my hands would shake every 3 days thereafter. But I also remember Dr. G at my next appointment, glancing at a printout of my A1C before slamming his fist on his desk. "Mr. Thomas," he yelled, "what happened here?" And I remember I didn't answer because I didn't want to play his game. He had in fact told me once that the smart ones always have an excuse. You say, a smart one could go to Harvard and roast you at their graduation speech. My mom's cringing over there. Don't worry, I won't actually roast him today. Regardless of his opinion, this speech is not about spite, it's not about revenge, it's not about self-pity. This speech is about the nurse practitioner who cared enough to switch me to other, more suitable needles I hadn't even known existed. It's about our families and the principles they instilled in us, and it's about our mentors who showed us by example how to apply those qualities to healthcare. It's about the question my story raises of what kind of doctors we want to be. And it's about the answer we consistently gave over the past 4 years in the ways we chose to care. For us, caring started early on. We came into healthcare because we wanted to help, and we quickly realized an important nuance: the difference between caring for patients and caring about them. It happened when Marissa allowed her patient without a cell phone to make calls on hers during their appointments. When Sarah Katzen kindly informed her patient that what he was drinking out of was not the water fountain, but actually the emergency eye wash station. It happened when we educated instead of admonished, when we did not shy away from medicine apart from the mouth. And it happened because we saw each of our patients not as a single variable, not the number of cavities they had, an A1C reading on a printout, a weight on a scale, but rather as what they are, something unquantifiable that should never be confined to a single term. But we also soon realized that caring about people is tough, it's tiring. And so to continue to do so, we need to be able to care about ourselves. It's what kept us grounded, lent us perspective, and gave us things to talk about with faculty at daily afternoon tea. During our time here, we should be proud that we never lost ourselves. We were artists, musicians, food critics, athletes. Hue even ran a boxing club. We were said to be more attractive than the med students. We were mothers and fathers of both children and dogs. Dogs named Guinness, Buster, Simba, Loki, Joey, and for some reason, Duck. I apologize to the cat people. Elena has like 12 cats, so I couldn't mention them here. Shua is still surfing, Seekong is still dancing, Jill somehow still likes the New York Jets, and Babek, without question, still likes his abs. And like our view of our own patients, we never saw ourselves exclusively as doctor, but rather as what we are, something unquantifiable, something beyond healthcare, and paradoxically, we're far better healthcare providers because of it. But we also realized that to best care about ourselves and our patients, we need to be able to care about our profession too. We did this through research, volunteering, activism. We cared about numbers and demographics. Sometimes the numbers even scared us, like our debt, but sometimes they didn't at all. Just ask the 50% of future oral surgeons from our class who are female, entering a profession that is 93% male. We cared about those whom we saw the system leave behind, and we disagreed on how best to help them. In doing so, we also learned that to care about these issues, we need to be able to talk, that the echoing of ideas is dangerous, and that the creative solutions derived from debate are, dare I say, among the essentials of our profession. And as our list of responsibilities grew ever longer, we arguably learned the most important lesson, to care about each other. We learned this through the good times and the bad, like when I dropped the denture I've been working on for months, tried to catch it, and missed. It was actually fine until I stepped on it. We relied on each other in chaotic moments like that when attending dental school felt more like attending the fire festival. We helped each other every day by sacrificing our own time to assist or clean up for someone running late. In doing so, we didn't just make it through dental school. We made dental school special together. And through all of this, we learned the importance of having support from people we love, from those who understand the challenges we face as healthcare providers. Personally, I may have lost a few hairs, but made far more friends, and I really can't imagine reaching this point without any of you guys. So far, this speech has been in the past tense, things we did, ways we cared, obstacles we overcame. But I hope you will see that the speech was never about the past. It was about the future. It was about people today and tomorrow who can't afford to smile, but do not trust anyone to care. It was about a 13-year-old kid out there somewhere now who needs help. And it was about us and what we will do for them and for our professions. We started 4 years ago as smart ones, and we became even smarter ones yet. Smarter ones who all the while cared about our patients, no excuses. But unfortunately, the world has shown us that being smart and caring is not always enough. And so as each of our names is called today, we need to decide to be something more. We need to join the ranks of our mentors and decide, as they did, to care even when money, power, and pride threaten to get in the way. And to do that, like them, we need to be brave ones too. Brave ones who turn our ideas into action, who speak our visions into truth. Brave ones who care with a backbone, who stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. Brave ones who seek out the darkest corners of our world, our profession, who stare down those who thrive there, those who hear us coming even now, and who ask them in an unwavering voice, what happened here?
It is a privilege to introduce our first Harvard Medical School Class of 2019 speaker, Robert Weatherford. Rob was raised in Wyoming and attended both Brigham Young University and the University of Wyoming, where he received a degree in English and Spanish. A few years after graduating, he found a job at a primary care clinic and decided medicine was the path for him. After completing his pre-medical classes and a post-baccalaureate program at Johns Hopkins University, he came to Harvard Medical School, where he's mostly known for his bad puns and his interest in women's health. He will begin his residency in obstetrics and gynecology back at Johns Hopkins next month. His remarks are titled, "The Debts We Owe." Please join me in welcoming Rob Weatherford.
Familia et amici. Just kidding, this address is in English. Friends and family, thank you for being here to celebrate with us on this special day. It is an honor to address both those people whose goodness has sustained me over the past 4 years, as well as those who have sustained them. Today marks a momentous occasion, both for the newly minted doctors as well as society at large. For as of today, we are legally required to identify ourselves as doctors on airplanes when an emergency arises, which is why I recommend that all of our farther-flung guests immediately take out your smartphones and cancel your flights home where you can still recover travel points with your airline and get a rental car instead. Today, a swarm of enthusiastic, half-baked competence is unleashed upon the world. Thank goodness for mandatory residency training. When I realized this morning that my speech was running contemporaneously with Angela Merkel's, my first thought was to doubt the judgment of you all, my beloved audience, for choosing to hear me over the most powerful woman in the world. So I promise to make your attendance here today worth it by announcing in this speech my candidacy for the Democratic 2020 presidential race. Given the absolute paucity of qualified candidates this close to the elections. The debt we graduates owe today is at least two-part, three if you include the unfathomable sum of money here owed to Uncle Sam that might better have been spent, I don't know, purchasing a small country, or perhaps investing in Twitter, the unexpected new platform for declaring domestic and international policy. Our first debt we owe to our patients, who have earned their homophonic name through the patience that they have showed us as they've taught us medicine through their lives and conditions. We obediently inquired of them all, even those simply complaining of a headache or a broken bone, whether they had sex with men, women, or both, and sometimes subjected them to multiple prostate exams because we just weren't quite sure what we were feeling up there. I will never forget two patients who I want to mention today. The first is a proud Venezolano man who fell ill with pneumonia while visiting his recently immigrated family in the United States. His symptoms were manifestations of an as-of-yet undiagnosed metastatic cancer that left him so debilitated he couldn't return to Venezuela to spend his final days on the beaches there, his dying wish. We instead arranged for hospice for him at a house on Cape Cod, and he passed away with his family, not at home, but nevertheless hearing the waves of the same Atlantic Ocean he loved. I wept for him and his family at his memorial service on the Cape. Another patient who stays in my mind is a woman who, after adopting 5 children with her husband due to their infertility, surprised herself and her husband by becoming spontaneously pregnant years into their marriage. I grew close to her and her husband through her lengthy labor and got to be the insecure but thrilled person to deliver that gift of a child into the world. Whether witnessing our patients' deaths or their births, we students have all cried for and silently celebrated with our patients more than we ever allowed ourselves to show. To our patients, on this day we are humbly grateful. Our second debt is to our loved ones, parents, siblings, spouses and partners, friends of all stripes, who have buoyed us up over our entire lifetimes, and especially during the sometimes turbulent waters of medical school. Among just my friends, we have in our audience today a father who raised his 2 sons, both of whom are doctors as of today, after losing his wife to complications of a long-standing illness. We're privileged also to have in attendance a single mother who worked as a cashier in Ohio to support her son, who as of today proudly has become a Harvard-educated physician. The sacrifices represented under this tent today are countless and untold. My gratitude extends deepest to my own parents. Just 2 weeks ago, my mother earned her PhD at age 58, a feat she undertook after raising us 7 children. My mother is the reason I know that the future is female, and she was the original impetus for why I proudly chose obstetrics and gynecology as my medical field, so that I may do my part to be 2 of the hands that help to usher that future in. My father, the most intentional and values-driven man I know, is also the man whose unending faith in and love for me is a testament to the fact that love is the strongest force on earth. Both my parents have always chosen to love the son they were sent, even when he differed from the son they expected. Mom and Dad, I love you both beyond my ability to say. Isaac Newton wrote in 1675 that, quote, "If I have seen further, it is because I have stood on the shoulders of giants," close quote. Though he was alluding to his scientific accomplishments, his metaphor applies to us today, and our parents and guardians are those giants. We were cradled at your bosom. We learned to walk in the guiding clasp of your hands, and we were succored during our hardship in the arms of your embrace. Thus, I would like to offer an emendation to Newton's words today. We are not simply standing on your shoulders. You are holding us there. Classmates, among the many things that today represents, one of them is certainly the expiry date on any of our excuses for accepting the world's ills as they are. Having been granted our wish upon a star when we were admitted to Harvard, the world has bestowed on us one of its highest privileges in the form of the education we received here and the degree conferred on this day. The world's many problems cry out for solutions, and who better than us to use the gift of this education to help solve them? My own field of obstetrics and gynecology is rife with them. The advancements of modern obstetrics have plummeted the maternal mortality rate wherever these advancements have reached. Yet Black women in the United States die during or around the time of childbirth at 3 times the rate of their otherwise matched white counterparts, a modern-day disgrace in our field. The oral contraceptive pill gave women unprecedented control over their bodies and the creation of their families. Yet too many women today worry about declining fertility in their 20s and 30s as they work to build the careers and find the partners that equality is finally permitting them. If it is not the people under this tent who are called to help solve these problems, then who? It is our sacred responsibility to uproot systemic racism from medicine and other American institutions. It is our holy task. It is our holy task to develop medical advancements that let women and men start families exactly when they're ready and not a day sooner. The list of unsolved problems in the world is daunting, yet I wake up each morning with a kernel of hope because I know the list of resources and selfless, diligent people we can marshal to solve them is greater. It is our vocation now to be healers of both the patients in front of us in our exam rooms and also the larger society that has given us the gift of this degree and with it this calling. If I have learned anything through my friendships with the remarkable people in this class over the past 4 years, it is that we are capable of rising to these challenges. Thank you to all of you for 4 of the most incredible years of my life, class of 2019. Now let's go forth and be the change we want to see in the world, with a flame of gratitude ever ablaze in our hearts for those to whom we owe our debts.
Thank you so much, Rob. It is now my great honor to introduce our second Harvard Medical School Class of 2019 speaker, Mubin Shakir. Born and raised in Oklahoma City, Mubin attended the University of Oklahoma, where he majored in biochemistry. Prior to HMS, he studied anthropology and public policy at the University of Oxford as a Rhodes Scholar. At HMS, he has largely been known to be interested in free food and making terrible jokes. But he is also known to be a strong advocate for marginalized communities, with an interest in using the bridge between medicine and policy to help the underserved. He will continue his training this summer in internal medicine at Massachusetts General Hospital. His remarks are entitled Compassion as Justice. Please join me in welcoming my first-year table mate and my good friend, Mubin Shakir.
Thank you, Jesse, for that very kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and especially to my classmates, the graduating class of 2019. We did it! I'm honored to be with you today and proud to say that after years and years of work, hundreds of feedback surveys that we never did, sorry, Dean Hundert, and countless moments where we waited to ask that sacred question to our resident, can we go home now? We are finally going to be doctors. Today, we are celebrating and grateful for you, our families, friends, teachers, and mentors. We would not be here without you, your tireless support, and your countless sacrifices for us. We are also grateful for the support staff, custodians, security guards, cafeteria workers here at HMS. Thank you for letting us learn and work in a clean and safe place every day. I also want to shout out the real MVP of Harvard Medical School, a pass-fail curriculum. I would definitely not be up here without it. Finally, I have to thank my own family, my 3 older brothers, and especially my mother, who is here today, and my dad, who we lost to leukemia 8 years ago. They flew across oceans over 4 decades ago to build a better life, gave everything to my 3 brothers and me, and they are the reason I'm here today. When I was visiting my family in Oklahoma City a few weeks ago, I proudly told my 6-year-old niece that I was graduating from Harvard. And she replied, "Where are the rest of my gummy bears? Did you eat them again?" As I finished the last of her gummy bears, her astute question reminded me that today is not about this esteemed school, but rather who we are and what brought us here. What brought us here is our compassion. We have chosen a job where every day the person in front of us matters, and their suffering matters. We should be proud because this is not an easy job. Even in our moments of ignorance of the last 4 or 5 years, or for some of you MD PhDs, 27 years, we have learned how important this compassion is. Patients remembered us because we sat with them, because we spent an extra minute at the foot of the bed to learn from them. No matter the circumstances, we can always return to this, to be kind and care for those around us unrelentingly. In thinking about who we are, I'm also grateful for all of you, my classmates. We have learned around truly exceptional people here, both in who you are and what you've done. We have published seminal research, built technology and new companies, shaped policy and led protests. One of us is a professional Spartan athlete. And one of us once ate 2 Domino's pizzas by themselves in one sitting. That was me last night. But it's Ramadan. I've been fasting since 3 a.m., so no judgment, okay? I am especially grateful for the activism of this class and our efforts to repay our privileges. So many of you have worked to open doors for others as they were opened for us, recruiting women and people of color into this field and into your fields and into this school where there are not nearly enough in positions of leadership. You have left this marble quad to give your time in service to others, from caring for people in jails to mentoring young people in the communities around us. Yet the demands of our coming training may cause us to forget these larger obligations of our privilege. Amidst the long hours, we will face the suffering of our patients, and they will suffer despite our greatest efforts and medicine's greatest innovations. Our patients will suffer until society can care for our poor as much as the rich, until we no longer discharge our patients who are experiencing homelessness back to the streets. They will suffer until we eradicate systems of racism and truly affirm that Black lives matter. They will suffer until we stop policies that criminalize women's choices about their health and their bodies. And our society will suffer as mass shootings in schools and houses of worship continue without political change from our leaders. And our treatment of immigrants and refugees, be they from south of the border, Syria, Palestine, or Myanmar, will question our commitment to caring for our neighbors with the dignity they deserve. In these next few years, our time and energy will be lacking when it comes to facing the many challenges that affect us and our patients. We have a duty to meet them, to speak out and act, and I know we can and will, as so many of you have done so already. But I believe the most important choice we have in these coming years, amongst the many we'll face, is to return to what brought us here, to care and to be kind to those around us, not only with our patients, but with our friends, our colleagues, and to those around us who are suffering. We have the choice to not judge our patients for what brings them to us, to hold off on our criticism of our colleagues because we don't know what they're going through, to spend the extra minute at the foot of the bed before checking the boxes on rounds, and to reach out to a friend who seems down. We always have this choice. I'm reminded of a gynecology fellow who at 4 a.m. told us that we needed to be efficient. Not a moment later, she was sitting with a patient for 15 minutes, a young woman who had recently had surgery for ovarian cancer. As she walked out of the room, she looked at the team and said, "We'll be late, but it's the worst week of her life, so let's remember that." I'm reminded of all of you, my classmates, who stayed late to connect a patient with care, who checked on a patient over a weekend when you weren't even working, and who reached out to support friends in the midst of hardship and loss. Our profession is rooted in this compassion, and our collective compassion, be it at the bedside, in the OR, in the lab, or in our advocacy, our collective compassion is truly a form of justice for a suffering world. Our speaker today, Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha, exemplifies this justice, how caring fiercely for our patients can truly save the lives of thousands. But despite the uncertainties and the challenges we will face, today I am hopeful. I'm hopeful because I know all of you. I'm hopeful because on our diverse paths, if we continue striving for compassion and striving for kindness in our work, for the people we know and those we don't, together we can make this world a better place for those around us. Class of 2019, it has been an honor to know you and a privilege to learn alongside you. Let us open the next chapter of our lives in remembrance of all things compassionate and all things merciful. God bless you all, good luck, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mabeen. I would now like to recognize the award recipients from the Harvard School of Dental Medicine. If I could have the recipients please now make your way to the side of the stage and come up to receive your award as your name is called. We ask the audience to hold all applause to the end. Recipients of these awards were chosen by the DMD class of 2019 to honor individuals who had a significant impact on the class. I am pleased to present the award for Outstanding Faculty to Dr. Peter Greco, the Pre-Doctoral Prosthodontics Director. The second Outstanding Faculty Award is awarded to Dr. Tian Zhang, Instructor in Oral Health Policy and Epidemiology. The class of 2019 has chosen to give the Outstanding Resident Award to Dr. Kevin Lin, Resident in Periodontology. Our first Outstanding Staff Award goes to Charles Muelle, our certified dental technician. The second Outstanding Staff Award is awarded to Eduardo Gonzalez Escobar of the custodial staff, who unfortunately could not be present today. Please join me in congratulating all of our award winners.
Congratulations to all of the HSDM award winners. Now we will present the awards for Harvard Medical School. HMS award recipients, please now make your way to the side of the stage and come up to receive your award as your name is called. We again ask that the audience hold your applause until the end. It's worth a try. I am thrilled to present the Faculty Award for Excellence in Clinical Instruction to Dr. Yamini Saravanan. I'm happy to present the Resident Award for Excellence in Clinical Instruction to Dr. Joshua Jolisant. I am pleased to present the award for Excellence in Preclinical Instruction to Dr. Anand Vaidya. The class of 2019 is very proud to celebrate the 5 recipients of this year's Outstanding Faculty Mentor Award. Dr. Jennifer Potter. Dr. Daniel Kamen. Dr. Bernard Chang. Dr. Sarah Seelig. And Dr. Daniel Ricotta. We are pleased to present this year's Leonard Tao Humanism in Medicine Award to Dr. Brent Shoji. And it is with great enthusiasm that we honor the Staff Student Life Award to none other than Franceni Johnson. I'm going to get out of the way for the photo. Congratulations to all of our Harvard Medical School Award winners.
Congratulations again to all of our award recipients. It is now my honor and privilege to introduce the Class Day Speaker of 2019. Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha is an Associate Professor of Pediatrics and Human Development at Michigan State University. as well as the founder and director of the Hurley Children's Hospital Pediatric Public Health Initiative, a program aimed at mitigating the long-term consequences of the Flint water crisis. Dr. Hanna-Attisha is best known for her groundbreaking work in collaboration with epidemiologists, community members, and government officials to reveal that the children of Flint, Michigan were being exposed to life-threatening levels of lead in their tap water. She has been a tireless advocate for her patients, with her work serving as a powerful testament to the paramount importance of persistence and teamwork, all while balancing the responsibilities as a physician, a citizen, and a mother. For her role in bringing the Flint water crisis to light, Dr. Hanna-Attisha was named by Time magazine one of the most influential people of 2016. Please join me in giving an extremely warm welcome to Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha.
Thank you. Thank you. I haven't even started talking. Thank you. Thank you. Hello and congratulations. And congratulations to family, friends, and faculty, all of you who are here today sharing in this amazing, amazing accomplishment. So let's get started. We have about 15 minutes, and I'm glad you're already all in gowns. Nobody got it. It's like a doctor's visit, 15 minutes. Okay. Bam! Anyways, it wouldn't work out because I don't have enough lollipops and stickers for all of you anyway. So just kidding, dentists, we don't give out lollipops anymore. Sorry. In all seriousness, congratulations. I have been where you are right now, excited, anxious, nervous, and unbelievably happy. I sat and listened to my commencement speakers as you listened to me, and I felt the pride that comes with being part of something so great. And a lot of you are thinking how amazing it is to be graduating from, hold on, let me check my notes. Oh my God, Harvard, wow, this is amazing. Totally impressive, wow, okay, wow. The name alone will open doors. But I will tell you something. It is Harvard that is proud of you and proud of what you will do. And as much, absolutely. And as much as you are wrapped in the history and traditions and the legends of this place is only as great as you are and as great as you will be. And as this university rises, always on the shoulders of its graduates, this world and our world depends on the amazing work that you will all do. But first, I want to start with a question for you all and try to think of the answer in your head. Why did you choose this most noble profession? Why did you go to school for what seems like forever, and for many of you, the MD-PhD sounds like it is absolutely forever. And I hope the answer in every single head under those mortar boards is our patience. Patience that we are absolutely privileged to serve. And for me, as a pediatrician, it is our children. And I want to tell you, shout out to the pediatricians. Yeah, pediatricians. This guy's got a teddy bear, yeah. Awesome. And I want to tell you about one of my Flint kids. And her name is Nakala. And in the summer of 2015, she came to clinic for her 4-month checkup with her older sister, Riva. And Nakala's mom wanted to stop breastfeeding, and I urged her, like every good pediatrician would, to continue. But she said she had to go back to work. She was a waitress, and there was no place to pump except the restroom that all the customers used. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't afford to do anything that would jeopardize her job. As it was, she was having trouble making ends meet. So she planned to switch to formula mixed with tap water, mixed with our tap water. And she had some concerns. And she asked me at that doctor's visit, "Is the water all right?" Looking skeptical. I heard things. And then Riva, the 2-year-old sister, came up to me with her hand open. Kids love to distract a doctor who's giving total attention to a younger sibling. And I turned my full attention to Riva, and she gave me a torn scrap of paper with masterful crayon scribbles, and she put it in my open hand. And I said to Riva, "Thank you. I'm going to put this right here in my white coat pocket. And soon you will find that the purpose of your white coats is the pockets. Where else would we put our phones, chapstick, code cards, pen lights, breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything goes in our white coat pockets. But it's also the place to store artwork by kids, if you're lucky. It's a place to hold the things that touch you and teach you and show you the way." So I sat Riva down on my lap, and I thought about the water. I'd been asked about it before, and I said to Nikola's mom, "Don't waste your money on bottled water," nodding with calm reassurance the way doctors are taught, lots of confidence. "They say it is fine to drink." And inches away, Riva, who was on my lap, was watching me closely. I smiled at her again. I gave her an extra squeeze, and then I set her down. And then I gave her mom another reassuring nod. The tap water is just fine. And it's hard for me to stand here and accept that I said that, because everyone here knows now that the tap water in Flint was not just fine. My story, the Flint, Michigan story, is about the unthinkable tragedy of people and children being poisoned by the most basic and necessary thing. It is a story of what happens when the very people responsible for keeping us safe and healthy care more about money and power than they do about the people they are charged to protect. But in the summer of 2015, I was a busy pediatrician, a residency director, a wife, a mom, juggling so many balls in the air like many of you will, trying to find balance. I was seeing patients like Nikola who would ask about bathing and drinking and mixing formula. And I was telling them all, of course the water is safe. I mean, how could our water not be safe? This is America, the richest country in the history of the world. It is the 21st century. There's rules and regulations. And you know those anonymous people in lab coats and test tubes who wake up every day to make sure that when I turn on the tap and you turn on the tap, wherever we are, the water is safe to drink. And it's also Michigan. Any Michiganders out there? There's a few. So show me your hand, guys. So we are the mitten state, right? So the state actually looks like a mitten. And why are we the mitten state? What are we surrounded by? Water, the Great Lakes. We are literally surrounded by the largest source of fresh water in the world. So how could our water not be safe? But I was wrong. I learned I was so wrong. I had been blinded. My eyes couldn't see what my mind didn't know. Doctors and dentists, each and every single one of you are blessed with a gift that is fleeting and something you must pay attention to in the moment because it is only given once. Fresh eyes. Fresh eyes. You only get to see it for the first time once. Don't miss it. Don't waste it. In those first moments, you will notice things that will vanish the more times you see it. The shocking turns into the usual. The magical withers into the mundane, the known, the accepted. Like the first time you do chest compressions on a child in the ED coding from a gunshot injury. The first time you order fluids for a diabetic in DKA because she could no longer afford her insulin. The first time you perform a full mouth extraction due to severe chronic periodontitis, like I'm learning these words for you guys, and gross dental caries because the patient never, ever had dental coverage. The first time you add measles to your differential for the kid with a fever and a rash. The first time you cradle an opioid-addicted baby to sleep. But in those first clean, clear moments, you get to see things through only your eyes, before the unthinkable has not only become the thinkable, but it's become the expected. It's become the norm. Your clarity of vision shows you the world how it should be, not the imperfect place that it is. As you spend your upcoming years on the front lines of health, hold on to those fresh eyes. Combine them with the tools and technology of medicine to make lives better. Focus them on the people in front of you, and don't forget to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Because when I finally took a step back, it was all around me. The signs were all around me, and I could not and did not see it until I studied it, until I knew it, until I knew it so well that I could not eat and I could not sleep, because by then I saw badness everywhere. Making others see it was a whole other thing. I ran up against systems built not to see, even when they knew. It was an indifference, a willful ignorance to certain people, places, and problems. In Flint, they told a population of predominantly poor and minority people to relax, that everything was okay. For a year and a half, while corrosive water, leaching lead, flowed through our pipes and into the homes and bodies of our families and children. It was preventable, but nobody stopped it. It was avoidable, but it happened. And no matter how hard and how scary it seemed, I couldn't close my eyes anymore. I could only go forward because no one else was coming. My doctor role quickly shifted from clinician educator to detective scientist to patient advocate. And I knew that if I was going to make a difference, I would have to prove that our children were in harm's way. And you all know that this is absolutely backwards. My research never should have been necessary. It never should have gotten to the point where the blood of our children had to be used as detectors of environmental contamination. Of course, our crisis never should have started, but it should have ended when that first mom raised a jug of brown water. And it definitely should have ended when we knew that there was lead in our water. And that is because lead is probably the oldest and most well-studied neurotoxins. And I would be remiss while here on the banks of the Charles River if I did not reflect on a giant who walked where you walk, who helped bring so much of this knowledge to light. A century ago, the nation's lead expert and really the mother of the field of occupational medicine was physician and social justice pioneer Alice Hamilton. Not Alexander Hamilton, no, Alice Hamilton. No, we hear, but you know what? They did have something in common. They did not throw away their shot. We'll get to that. So after graduating from the University of Michigan's medical school in 1893, Alice found herself in Chicago at the Hull House with Jane Addams. Just Jane Addams. Alex Hamilton got mixed up. This is about women, okay. So where she found herself providing well child care and wraparound services to the poor and to recent immigrants. And it was there with her fresh eyes that she saw that many of the ailments presenting to her clinic were related to terrible working conditions and terrible exposures. For example, hatters that were coming in who had gone mad because of mercury poisoning. And then, exactly a century ago, in 1919, she came here to Harvard, and she was your very first female professor of the entire university. Awesome. But that appointment came with several sexist stipulations. There was no admission to football games, no admission to the faculty club, and no admission to commencement. So it is so nice to see so many women faculty here. Let's have them stand and give them a round of applause. Where are the women faculty? There's more. None of you would be at your commencement without these guys, girls. Nevertheless, Alice persisted, and what I admire the most about her was her fierce advocacy for her patients here when she was at Harvard. Because during her time, General Motors was trying to convince our nation that lead in gasoline was a good thing, literally a gift from God. And Alice fought them with all her might, insisting that the introduction of lead in gasoline on a widespread basis would have a catastrophic impact on public health. And she was right. And at one time, it's reported that she confronted General Motors head engineer, Charles Kettering, in a hallway, and she said to him, "You're nothing but a murderer." This is cool, right? Medical history is really cool. This is like a drama. So from Alice, I learned about lead's toxicity. We all did. But more than that, I learned to use science and data to speak truth to power. Alice Hamilton took risks and bucked the status quo as she passionately and humbly fought for the most vulnerable among us. Her work was not about abstract scientific discovery alone. It wasn't just an academic exercise for the ivory tower to rack up publications and grants and offers of tenure. It was about people. Let her Harvard legacy serve as another reminder of what our work should be about. And for me in Flint, the work in front of me was clear. I had to work fast, around the clock, to truly see what was happening to my patients. And it took a combination of curiosity and clinical data pulled from our EMR to find the truth. And the truth was horrific. Yes, lead was increasingly in the bodies of our children, a potent, irreversible neurotoxin that we now know through incredible science has no safe level. And there wasn't a moment to spare. There wasn't time to ask for permission. This was an emergency for my kids. And I needed to react like a first responder on the scene. I needed to call a code. And I literally walked out of my clinic with my white coat on. And I stood up at a press conference behind a podium like this, but there's a stool here, so I was really short. And I shared the science, the evidence that our children were in harm's way, and I demanded action. And even as I offered up my facts, my research was met with denials and attacks. The state said I was wrong, unfortunate, and even hysterical. And for a quick minute, I regretted using my voice. I started to doubt myself. I was scared. There was a knot in my stomach that wouldn't go away. My heart rate was close to 200. Just like many have done, I started to diagnose myself with all kinds of different ailments, mainly endocrine and psychiatric. And I thought maybe I should have just minded my own business. I had an overwhelming sense of imposter syndrome, that I wasn't good enough. I felt small, smaller than my usual 5 feet. After all, I was just one pediatrician going against the most powerful forces in the state. But those thoughts were quickly replaced with the realization that this had nothing to do with me. Every single number in my research was a child, a kid, and children that as a physician I have literally taken an oath to protect. It was about Billy, who came to clinic with a sprained ankle, and Sasha, who always asks to use my stethoscope to listen to her heart. And it was about Jasmine, who at her 5-year checkup, when I asked her, what do you want to be when you grow up? She said, I want to be 6 years old. Six. And it was about Nakala and Riva, whose masterful artwork is still in my white coat pocket. All the Flint kids I knew and saw, all the kids that I'd ever known and seen, and all the kids that I had yet to know and see, were jumping out of my spreadsheets, pushing me forward, giving me the courage to speak out against a system that wanted me to stay quiet. So I fought back with more data and more science, and also with patient stories. We have stories. I was loud and persistent, and a growing team of resistors was forming around me. Eyes began to open, and it became impossible to look away. And it took a while, but finally the man-made crisis was exposed, the state conceded, we went back on Great Lakes water, and most importantly, kids got protected. And since then, we have been building and sharing our model of hope and recovery. And as much as the story of Flint is a story of a crime committed with absolute indifference to some of the most vulnerable people in our country, it is a story of all of us, and that is why I am here today. It is about who we are and who we want to be. It is a story of medicine leaving the comfort zone of our hospital, our classrooms, our clinics, and walking into community, working hand in hand to challenge the status quo. One lesson that you must take from my story is that your degree grants you stature in your community. The doctor in front of my name was a megaphone for the kids of Flint, and I used it, and I became the voice of health. And in concert with a growing team, we changed the trajectory of an entire city. And I urge you, all of you, every single one of you, to be the voice of health. We are depending on you. We have been waiting for all of you. Our patients cannot afford to have the guardians of their health shut their eyes, look away, and stay silent to injustices that threaten their health. Pick your injustice. It's not hard to find these days. The credibility of science is under attack, from vaccines to climate change. There's so much work to be done. Regulations and public health agencies like the EPA are being dismantled. Too many children are born into poverty with ever-widening income inequality. Healthcare access for millions is out of reach and may swell. Rising drug prices stall treatment. There is a full-out assault on women's bodies and reproductive health today. Gun violence is epidemic, and our policymakers are bought. Slavery's legacy has morphed into mass incarceration. Children in cages, separated from their parents and dying at the border. And like any malignancy, hate and racism and nationalism are spreading all over this world. This is all happening now, and it's making people sick, filling hospital beds, dropping life expectancies, and deteriorating our public's health. And this is why we need you. And this is why I am so absolutely hopeful looking out at all of you today. Use your fresh eyes to not only diagnose problems, but also to prescribe solutions. We are healers, and healing means getting Nikala and Riva the medical care they deserve, but also seeing beyond the obvious and addressing what truly makes families healthy and happy, like living wage jobs, income equality, affordable housing, nutrition security, restorative justice, clean air, clean water, and so much more. When you take that oath really soon, you are committing to be that healer, that protector. Sometimes that means being on guard for a city that is being poisoned. And sometimes that means being there for a person whose life is slipping away. Sometimes that means holding one tiny hand in yours. And sometimes that means holding the hands of an entire population. We cannot predict the path that will come before us. I never could have predicted mine. An immigrant who came from someplace else for something better. A doctor who was just doing her job. You are moments away from setting off on your own path. Hold on to those fresh eyes. Remember that your work is all about people, and it is about all people. Never forget who you are and the power that you now hold, and use it as it must be used for good, for people, for building a better world. Are you guys ready? That was awesome. Louder, are you guys ready? Good. Because there is no time to spare. It is time to get started. We have been waiting for every single one of you. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hanna-Attisha. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce the Dean of the Harvard School of Dental Medicine, Dr. Bruce Donoff. Dr. Donoff received his DMD from the Harvard School of Dental Medicine and went on to earn his MD from the Harvard Medical School as part of his residency in oral and maxillofacial surgery at the Massachusetts General Hospital. He continued to work at MGH, being named chairman and chief of service in 1983, and becoming the first Walter C. Guralnick Professor of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery. In his 28-year tenure as dean, Dr. Donoff encouraged his students to become oral physicians with a care and understanding for the whole body. HSDM's mission reflects his aspiration to break down traditional barriers between oral and systemic health, and in this way, he has truly served as the bridge between HSDM and HMS. Dr. Donoff's efforts were recognized with the prestigious William J. Guys Foundation Award from the American Dental Education Association in 2004 for outstanding vision by an academic dental institution. Last month, Dr. Donoff announced his plans to step down as Dean of HSDM at the end of this year. His legacy in leading an institution rich in 150 years of tradition into the future of dental education will never be forgotten. It is my sincere honor and privilege to introduce our Dean of the Harvard School of Dental Medicine, Dr. Donoff.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations to all. This is such a special day for all the graduates of the Harvard School of Dental Medicine and Harvard Medical School, the class of 2019. Congratulations to you and to all your loved ones who have helped you reach this point in your lives. You are at a major milestone of a long journey of education and training designed to permit you to help people through the discovery, application, and communication of knowledge, competence, compassion, and caring. The development of wisdom and clinical judgment through lifelong learning and further experience represents the road ahead. Each year, I associate the graduating class with a particular event or accomplishment in order to create a lasting memory for myself. This is easy this year, for you are the first class to complete the Pathway program, not the old New Pathway, but the New Pathways program. You are also the first class, the dental class at least, to complete all your national testing exams without a single failure. Congratulations. 2 years ago, we celebrated the 150th anniversary of the founding of the dental school at Harvard University, a momentous occasion as the first dental school in America associated with the university and its medical school, and the first to grant the DMD degree. That philosophy is our legacy and our mantra. This morning, when I presented the degree candidates to President Bacow, he granted their degrees and welcomed them into a demanding branch of medicine. It is no secret that medicine and dentistry have evolved with an unnatural professional separation that is helpful to no one and often leads to unnecessary suffering on the part of patients. No one quite knows whether the physicians who started the Baltimore College of Dentistry in 1840 were thwarted by the University of Maryland and its medical school, or whether they wanted to be separate. This history, in fact, is taught to first-year medical dental students here at Harvard in the Practice of Medicine course. This began the siloing of the two fields, which, despite several attempts for change, like the Guy's Report of 1926 calling for dentistry to stay close to medicine but separate, the Institute of Medicine Report of 1995 calling for the integration, or by the first ever Surgeon General's report on oral health in 2001, which called oral disease a silent epidemic and noted that oral health is critical to general health and well-being. That siloization has remained until today. Less so here. Our belief that dentistry is a branch of medicine distinguishes our education, our values, and the careers of our graduates. But increasing knowledge supports the now widely recognized links between oral health and medical health. The mouth is often a wide open window into what is happening in the rest of the body, and sometimes a source of risk as well. A second Surgeon General's report on oral health is now being prepared, emphasizing the importance of oral health to general health. Louis Menand, in his treatise, The Marketplace of Ideas, states that the key to reform of almost any kind in higher education lies not in the way that knowledge is produced. It lies in the way that the producers of knowledge are produced. You will be the leaders in oral health because of the way you were selected and the way you were produced, and you will have an impact on healthcare as dentists. It was Dan Fetterman, mentioned before, former HMS Dean for Medical Education, who called me one day in 1986 when I was Chief of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery to say that he attended a session of the AAMC meeting on teaching medical students about dentistry and oral health, and Harvard should do this too. In fact, the program was presented by Dr. Mort Lorber, a DMD MD graduate of HSDM. Yes, there was a brief time when all dental students received the MD as well as the DMD. Dr. Lorber developed his course for students at Georgetown Medical School. So I at the MGH, along with Steve Sonis at the Brigham, initiated sessions for medical students during their clerkships in the essentials of dental medicine and oral health. This led to the current Oral Health Day, which the combined classes enjoy during the first year of the current curriculum, the Pathways program. Our initiative to integrate oral health and medicine, which began 4 years ago, seeks to advance the education, clinical practice, outcomes, and policy regarding comprehensive disease management and the economic imperative of good oral health. We work with the medical school's primary care center to foster integration and hope to create an integrated medical dental practice that will be a teaching unit for all students. Only 2 weeks ago, I had the privilege of listening to 2 MD-MPP students discuss their reasons for pursuing primary care and family medicine at a session billed as a revolution for primary care. One of those students is graduating today. I like revolutions. Goodness knows the American healthcare system needs some transformations. We believe in integrating oral health and medical care. Doing this will be difficult and take at least another month. It will require, 1, change the cultures of medicine and dentistry, develop new payment models, improve shared information systems, and improve outcome measurements. When I had just become a professor and head of oral maxillofacial surgery at the MGH and Harvard, I had a series of patient encounters that were remarkable because of the patients involved, but also because each was prescient of the remarkable future of healthcare that you, the graduates, are now entering. First, I had a patient whom I had cared for 2 years before present for a tooth extraction. He said hello and then told me to put on gloves. This was 1982. He said, put on gloves before examining him. Mind you, most dentists and physicians did not wear gloves for general exams at the time. He said he had just returned from Seattle, where he had had a bone marrow transplant, developed graft versus host disease, and had something called an HIV infection. In the next year, I had many calls from dentists, distraught because they had cared for a patient who then told them that they might have AIDS. You cannot believe the distress and emotional climate of these calls. Interestingly, even late into the 1980s, as I taught patient Dr. 1 and had a patient from the AIDS Action Committee attend a meeting, students would ask if it was okay to shake hands with the speaker. A disease that was a diagnosis for death is now a treatable illness. That is part of healthcare's past and future, and science made it possible and makes it possible. Pursuit of science and primary care are not incompatible. I also recall a group of a dozen young women with tongue cancer who were the antithesis of the usual oral cancer patients. They had none of the usual risk factors, and despite detailed study of them all, we could not identify any reason for them to have such cancers. However, just last month it was shown that these patients have a marker PD-1, which can be a very useful indicator for patients with a relatively well-behaved tongue cancer. I just received a New England Journal email from the editor-in-chief's 12 most important papers since 2000. I'm sure many in the audience did as well. One of those papers was about HPV infection, the vaccine and prevention of cervical cancer. But in fact, its relationship to oropharyngeal cancer is as important, and vaccination prevents this oral cancer as well. Why should mucosa in one orifice of the body be different from another? We have come a long way, and science makes this possible. Medical treatment of surgical disease is becoming a reality for dental decay as well as cancers. We've come a long way since Australian physicians Barry Marshall and Robin Warren won a Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2005 for the discovery that gastric ulcers are caused by bacteria. The discovery of Helicobacter pylori was groundbreaking and opened up the study of the human microbiome, which is so important to today's understanding of many diseases. It will just take one of you to discover how the human immune system turns these normal inhabitants into pathogens. I liken the concept of natural microbes being involved in disease with the realization in the mid-1800s that cholera could be transmitted by water, when at the time only airborne spread of disease was acknowledged. So, congratulations to the 34 individuals receiving the DMD degree, the 11 with honors in a special field, and the 5 receiving the degree with general honors, the 19 receiving the Master of Medical Science degree, and the 8 receiving the Doctor of Medical Science degree. And congratulations to all the residents and fellows who are receiving specialty certificates and will go on to make an impact in their chosen fields. Always remember, we are privileged to take care of people. Treat them well, treat them kindly, and treat them with respect. Above all, treat them all equally with one high standard of care. Don't allow missions of mercy, thousands of people lined up for free dental care once a year, to become the profession's scar of oral health delivery for the underserved. Don't permit our growing elderly population's oral health needs from being excluded from Medicare. Your achievements should make you very proud. Those who have helped you reach this day and those who have nurtured and sustained you share that pride. The entire HSDM community and I feel no small measure of joy and pride in your accomplishments. We look forward to your futures with justifiably high hopes. Congratulations, class of 2019. I hope your memories of HSDM and HMS will always remain a treasured part of who you are and who you become. Be the leaders you are in transforming oral health care and healthcare through science, policy, and compassionate care. Most importantly, do the right thing, especially when no one is watching. And now I would like to invite Associate Dean for Dental Education, Dr. Sang Park, to join me on stage for the conferring of the DMD degree. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Good afternoon. I'm Sang Park, Associate Dean for Dental Education, the School of Dental Medicine. It is my honor to present to you our incredible members of the Harvard School of Dental Medicine class of 2019. These amazing women and men have completed 4 or more years of studies toward a degree of Doctor of Dental Medicine. Assisting in the hooding today are members of our dental faculty, and they are Dr. Sam Coffin, Dr. Rahan Kakadia, Dr. Aram Kim, Dr. Armando Pardo, and Dr. Ezra Yanars. This is a monumental moment for our graduates in so many ways, and also because they're being addressed as doctors for the first time. Class, are you ready? All right. Dr. Aditaye Lloyd Joseph Adeshe. Ty, do you want to come up to stage? Actually, this way. You take the stairs up. He's very excited, you know. Congratulations. Okay. Dr. Morgan Chloe Ahmed. Dr. Petra Christina Bashor. Dr. Megan Breik. Dr. Fiorella Alessandro Condamo Aparicio. Dr. Ingrid Carvo. Dr. Tiffany Yuje Chen. Dr. Christina Cho. Dr. Jacqueline Chow. Dr. Babek Ibadpour. Dr. Justin Rees Fazzolari. Dr. Thomas Casey Ferlito. Dr. Jacob Freilich, accompanied by his adorable children, Yafa and Isaac. They're so adorable. Dr. Erica Shapiro Frankel. She also earned a PhD from the Harvard Graduate School of Arts and Science. Dr. Joshua Ganuth. Dr. Puan Hua. Dr. Vicky Ane Herrera. Dr. Hui Huang. Dr. Bonfus James. Dr. Deepti Shroff Karate. Dr. Sarah Blair Katzen. Dr. Jessica Langella. Dr. Joshua Levine. Dr. Sikong Lee. Dr. Justin Roy Montenegro. Dr. Jillian Patricia Mulbauer. Dr. Marissa Danielle Price. Dr. Elena Polano. Dr. Zhen Shen, accompanied by our future graduates, Luke and Damon. Dr. Odiri Elaine Cito. Dr. Mary Catherine Spinella. Dr. Dylan Stark.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Mindy Kim Trong. Dr. Sarah Elizabeth Wichita. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the Harvard School of Dental Medicine class of 2019.
Congratulations to our incredible 34 DMD graduates today. It is now my honor to introduce the Dean of Harvard Medical School, Dr. George Daly. After earning his bachelor's degree, magna cum laude, from Harvard in 1982, Daly went on to earn his PhD in biology at MIT. He received his MD from HMS, graduating in 1991 with the rare distinction of summa cum laude, an honor HMS has awarded only 18 times in the school's history. He then pursued clinical training in internal medicine at Massachusetts General Hospital and was a clinical fellow at Brigham and Women's Hospital and Boston Children's Hospitals. After an active clinical practice in hematology and oncology at Massachusetts General and Boston Children's, he assumed his administrative role as director of the Pediatric Stem Cell Transplantation Program at Dana-Farber and Boston Children's, a post he held until assuming his current position as Dean of the Faculty of Medicine. Dean Daly has served as a member of the HMS faculty since 1995, and in 2010, he became a full professor at HMS. Dean Daly's research focuses on the mechanisms that underlie blood disorders and cancer. In past research, he demonstrated the central role of the BCR-ABL oncoprotein in human chronic myelogenous leukemia, work that provided critical target validation for development of imatinib, a highly effective therapy for cancer. It has been my pleasure to get to know him over the last 2 years, and it is my distinct privilege to welcome Dean Daly to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Colleagues, friends, family, it's truly exciting to be here today to share what is a major milestone. It's a great privilege for me to be celebrating this transition in your careers, the students, the class of 2019. Today, you're becoming doctors. Whether you're a physician or a dentist, you're joining a profession that has rich traditions and has earned a well-justified respect and the honor that will be accorded your degrees. You've worked hard, incredibly hard, to achieve your degrees, and today you pledge yourselves to a career in service to others, a career that calls upon you to strive on behalf of your patients to alleviate suffering and to enhance health and well-being for all. You've made it. You've made us proud, and I'm honored to congratulate you, the class of 2019. Now, you have no doubt waited a very long time to be called doctor for real. Now, for some of you, it's been maybe even all of your life. Can you recall when you first set your sights on becoming a doctor? Well, sometimes we need to be reminded of what it means to dream. And just last week, I received an email from Lainey Kuchera, a 12-year-old sixth grader who attends the Killdeer Elementary School, which is 22 miles away from her home in Holiday, North Dakota. Population 197. Lainey told me about her father, who works in the oil fields, and her mother, who works at a bank and volunteers as an EMT. Lainey told me about her teacher, Mrs. Helfrich, who spoke to her class recently about the importance of preparing for college, a conversation that prompted Lainey to set her sights on coming to Harvard to become a doctor. Lainey's thinking of specializing already, pediatric or cardiovascular surgery, programs where she duly notes Harvard ranks very high. Lainey also noted that her current babysitting job and doing lots and lots of chores aren't enough to pay for tuition. So she plans to work as a teller at her mother's bank when she becomes 16, and she hopes to earn scholarships. I was tremendously moved and inspired by Lainey's message. I wrote back to her, and I said that achieving excellence through education could change her life. Class of 2019, at some point in your lives, whether it was sixth grade or sometime later, you likely encountered your own Mrs. Helfrich. You too were encouraged by a mentor. You developed a yearning around which your dreams of becoming a doctor began to crystallize. Like Lainey, you fretted over grades, extracurricular activities. You agonized over test scores. The vast majority of you wondered whether you could ever shoulder the financial burden of your education. But above all, you dedicated yourself to learning. You relished intellectual challenge, you worked hard, and you earned your place here through long hours of studying, through sacrifice and sheer determination. You arrived at Harvard Medical School as the very best of the very best. And when you arrived here, we challenged you to work even harder. You devoted yourself to your studies. You pledged to live up to the expectations of your mentors and your patients. You created new knowledge through research. You worked in clinics here in Boston and around the world. You saved lives. For your many achievements, you have received well-deserved recognitions, including one among you who will graduate summa cum laude, becoming only the 19th student and 4th woman ever to have earned this distinction in the 237-year history of Harvard Medical School. Class of 2019, you have changed Harvard Medical School. You founded the Racial Justice Coalition. You staged die-ins. We died with you. You marched for science, for women, and we marched with you. You marched for your DACA classmates, one of whom is marching here with you today. You used your platform here at Harvard Medical School to focus the eyes of the nation on important causes, not for your own gain, but because it was the right thing to do. You are trailblazers. As the first class to graduate from the Pathways curriculum, you hold a special place in the history of our school. You even led critical components of our reaccreditation, including 2 student surveys that garnered an unheard of 98% participation rate. I'm not sure how you did that, but I am certain I will never be surprised by what you will achieve. I hope you never lose the spirit that compelled you to become a doctor in the first place. So take a moment right now to think back to that time years ago when you were Lainey Kuchera, with big dreams that drive to chase after them. Maybe even some of you wrote a letter to the then Dean of Harvard Medical School. Class of 2019, you're leaving Harvard Medical School a much better place than it was when you arrived. Harvard hasn't made you, you have made Harvard. Thank you. But your work has just begun. That's a message. Didn't hit me. Apropos of that, you are graduating at a fragile time in our society. I didn't make that up. Among the many concerns we collectively face, as referenced before, is a growing mistrust of expertise, a metastasizing notion that gut feelings somehow carry as much or even more weight than evidence and data. Now, there are a few settings in which people yearn for expertise and expect evidence-based decision-making more than in healthcare. Distrust of expertise fades when your patient needs the skills of a doctor. Unfortunately, almost every day, we hear stories in the media of individuals who profit by taking advantage of privilege or gaming the institutions and systems we place our trust in. You, the class of 2019, you are the antidote to such cynicism. More than ever, we need leaders who can guide us with insight, wisdom, and compassion, and I am certain that you are those leaders. Not by choice, not by ambition, but by the sheer power of your competence and your commitment to serving others. In medicine, nothing can substitute for hard work and dedication. The standards are too high, the tasks too arduous, the responsibilities too great and meaningful. Fake it till you make it doesn't make it in medicine. High standards of excellence and achievement, competence, not bravado and bloviation, make medicine one of the most respected professions and one of the few that can be considered a calling. So as you leave Harvard and carry the privilege of being a doctor, patients will depend upon you to bring your expertise and your compassion to serve their needs. I am confident that you will continue to earn their trust just as you have earned your degrees here today. You've made your mark on Harvard. Now it's time for you to make your mark upon the world. So once again, to the class of 2019, congratulations. We are so, so proud of you. And finally, before I depart this stage, I want to give a special recognition to my colleague, Dr. Bruce Donoff, who later this year will be stepping down after 28 years of distinguished leadership of the Harvard School of Dental Medicine. Dean Donoff has been a visionary who has advanced the cause of integrating oral health and medicine, and through his training of generations of Harvard students, he leaves a profound legacy in the field of dental medicine. Thank you, Dean Donoff. So this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Let me invite the Dean for Medical Education, Ed Hundert, the Dean for Students, Fidencio Saldana, to join me for the conferring of the MD degrees.
All right, class, you did it. You've heard it before. Give yourselves one more hand here. Now, I'd like all the students to stand up, turn around, give your parents and loved ones a hand, please. And one more hand for Rosa Soler, the Office of Student Affairs, who put this together for you. We have a couple of fun traditions. Our students are very productive. They're productive in many ways in their education. I believe we were told that there have been as many peer-reviewed publications as graduates in this class, which is quite extraordinary. We also have many students who have had children while they've been here. So one of our traditions is as you get your sheepskin, people carry their children over and they get the lammy. Sorry. That goes with the sheepskin. And for the parents who are here who may not know, the students at Harvard Medical School and Harvard School of Dental Medicine are divided into 5 academic societies, learning communities that provide support for them as they go through. And the faculty who provide the hoods to the students are the faculty advisors and staff in those societies. And each society is led by an advisory dean who calls the name. So I'm going to ask that you to start hooding to get ready for the first society, which is the Canon Society. If you could prepare some of the hoods to go. And one other tradition that I wanted you to be aware of is the writing of an oath. So the dental and medical students get together and write their own oath each year. And as soon as we confer all of the MD degrees, I'm going to be calling Dean Daly back up to lead the class in the oath. And it's really one of the most moving experiences of the graduation. With that, I'm going to call the advisory dean of the Canon Society to read the first set of names, Dr. Sarah Fazio.
Good afternoon. I would like to welcome the Canon class of 2019. I'm Dr. Sarah Fazio, the very proud advisory dean. I would like to introduce the faculty who will be hooding our graduates, Dr. Kate Treadway, Dr. Daniel Kamen, and Dr. Julian Seifter. All right, let's get to it. Also receiving a PhD, I'd like to introduce Dr. Stephen Asa Alsop. Dr. Piawat Arechai. Dr. Francesca Barrett. Also receiving her MBA degree. Also receiving an MPH, Dr. Agatha Brzezinski. Also receiving an MPP, Dr. Kyle Renard Burton. Dr. Allison Eva Baker Chang. Also receiving an MBA, Dr. Christopher Devine. Dr. Michael Alexander Diorio. Dr. Ryan Din. Dr. Sean Fletcher. Dr. Galina Gakeman. Dr. Nicole Goldhaber. Dr. Rebecca Hammond. Dr. Emily Wong. Dr. Aini Jun. Dr. Ileana Kirsch DeVore. Dr. Nan Lambda. Dr. Cameron Lee. Also receiving an MPH and a Master's of Medical Science, Dr. David Lee. Dr. Jingyi Liu. Also receiving an MBA, Dr. Keenan Mahan. Dr. Alex Ruan. Dr. Robert Rudy. Also receiving a Master's of Medical Science, Dr. Krishan Sharma. Also receiving an MBA, Dr. Ashley Shaw. Dr. Jenny Shi. Dr. Catherine Yates. And last but not least, Dr. Tanae Zhang. All right, let me just give one last congratulations to the awesome Canon class of 2019. Congratulations.
So the next society, the Castle Society, can step forward and start getting hooded to get ahead on the line. I want to just say one more word about the class oath. So the class oath this year is written as a pledge to the students' patients, to the doctor's patients. Some years it's sort of a pledge in general. And they've written this really quite beautiful pledge to uphold their patients' dignity, to offer their best self to their patients, to foster collaboration and mutuality, to practice with the highest quality of care, and to care for all. And in that spirit, I'm going to welcome the Advisory Dean of the Castle Society, Dr. Jennifer Potter.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is my great pleasure to present the HMS Class of 29 graduates from the William B. Castle Society. Dr. Laura Banashek. And I neglected to introduce our faculty and program coordinator who are hooding today, so I'm going to back up to do that. Hooding the graduates are my co-advisors, Dr. Nikki Johnson, Dr. Alden Landry, Senior Advisor, Dr. William Taylor, and Program Coordinator, Claudia Galeas. Dr. Joseph Berliand. Dr. Alejandro Cortez. Dr. Daniel Curiel. Dr. Stephen Dalvin. Dr. Sheila Anamendram. Dr. Gabriel Fragoso. Dr. Abraham Geller, accompanied by a very new baby. Dr. Nicholas Govea. Dr. Allison Holliday. Dr. Jessica Holtzman. Dr. Michael Hughes. Dr. Manjinder Kandola. Dr. Sanjay Kishore. Dr. Margaret Krasny. Dr. Vipul Kumar. Dr. Crystal Lung. Dr. Michael McClurkin. Dr. Pooja Mehta. Dr. Benjamin Mormon. Dr. Rumbi Mushavi. Dr. Rahul Nayak. Dr. Deanna Palenzuela. Dr. Faith Robinson. Dr. Danielle Rabinowitz. Dr. Priyanka Shaha. Dr. Christine Santiago. Dr. Andrew Schneider. Dr. Mubin Shakir. Dr. Jessica Stewart. Dr. Howard Zihao Yan. Dr. Joseph Zacharias. And Dr. Carmen Joe. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2019 Castle graduates.
The next society, in case you were looking for the pattern, it's alphabetical. It's the Home Society. I'd like to ask the Homes hooders to start hooding the students, and as they do so, I'm going to call on Dr. Anthony D'Amico, the advisory dean of the Home Society, to come on up.
All right, thank you, Dean Hundred. It's truly a pleasure and a privilege now to be able to announce for the first time the word doctor on our newly appointed physicians of the Oliver Wendell Holmes Society. Hooding is Dr. Nihar Trin, and our emeritus advisor, Dr. Helen Shields, and also our emeritus program oversight, Ms. Sheila Kish. So we'll start with Dr. Vishal Arora. Dr. Ryan Bartholomew. Also receiving his doctorate of philosophy, Dr. Neil Block. Also having received her Master's of Public Health, Dr. Kia Bird. Dr. Dana Callahan. Dr. Daniel Caesar. Also receiving her Master's of Public Policy, Dr. Stephanie Che. Dr. Alyssa Elric. Dr. Leo Eisenstein. Dr. Luis Fandino. Dr. Whitney Fitz. Also receiving her Master's of Business Administration, Dr. Smitha Gunation. Also receiving his Doctorate of Philosophy, Dr. Dan Guay. Dr. Saksham Gupta. Dr. Margaret Hayden. Dr. Samantha Landino. Dr. Dalia Larios. Also receiving her doctorate of philosophy, Dr. Ellen Lightman. Dr. Howard Lee. Dr. Christina Liu. Dr. Marissa Lin. Dr. Vihang Nakate. Dr. Marissa Palmore. Dr. Justin Partridge. Also receiving her doctorate of philosophy, Dr. Cassandra Heitzman. Dr. Miranda Ravis. Dr. Michael Silva. Dr. Marissa Shoji. Dr. Henry Sue. Dr. Sivakumar Sundaram. Dr. Virginia Tran. Also receiving his Master's of Public Policy, Dr. Danny Vasquez. Dr. Dashali Vias. Dr. Amy Wong. Dr. Robert Weatherford. Dr. Winona Wu. Dr. Brian Yang. Dr. Mark Yost. A final congratulations to the physicians of the Oliver Wendell Holmes Society.
Next, we'll ask the hooders from the Irving London Society to begin hooding the students. As many of you know, the London Society houses our Health Sciences and Technology program. And so I'm delighted to invite up the Advisory Dean of the London Society and Co-Director of HST, Dr. Wolfram Gosling.
London Society, HST students, family, friends. I'd like to introduce the members of the faculty who will be hooding the London HST students today. They're my good friends and colleagues, June Kamihara, Rick Mitchell, and Matthew Frosch, Associate Directors of HST. Joining us as well are the Society administrators, Patty Cunningham, Carol Altarejos, Zara Smith, and Kate Hodgins. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the graduates of the Irving M. London Society of the Harvard-MIT Division of Health Sciences and Technology. Dr. Kavita Anandalingam. Dr. Annabelle Anandapa. Dr. David Bozum. Dr. Eun Young Ellis Choi. Dr. Jennifer Choi. Also receiving her PhD from Harvard University, Dr. Ursula de Ressy. Also receiving his MPH from Harvard University, Dr. Jonathan Fisher. Dr. Jin Yi Gong. Also receiving his PhD from Harvard University, Dr. Dustin Grisama. Also receiving her PhD from Harvard University, Dr. Joyce Wong. Dr. Brendan Law. Dr. Daniel Lee. Also receiving his PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Dr. Dayan Jack Lee. Dr. Vivian Liu. Also receiving his PhD from Harvard University, Dr. William Lowe. Newly commissioned Air Force Captain, Dr. Ronit Malka. Graduating summa cum laude, Dr. Diana Mayo. Dr. Ann Robbins. Dr. Catherine Roche. Dr. Ali Shamdgi. Dr. Andre Shamaroni. Also receiving his PhD from Harvard University, Dr. Quinlan Sievers. Dr. Alicia Smart. Also receiving his MBA from Harvard University, Dr. Vishwajit Srithiran. Also receiving his PhD from Harvard University, Dr. Benjamin Steinhorn. Also receiving his PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Dr. Vicentius Jeremy Suhardi. Also receiving the PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Dr. Ziyang Sun. Also receiving his PhD from Harvard University, Dr. Jeremiah Walla. Dr. Kathy Wang. Also receiving her PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Dr. Rachel Wolfson. Dr. Michael Wu. Dr. Connie Zhao. Again, congratulations to all of you, London HST class of 2019.
And last but not least, I invite the members of the Francis Weld Peabody Society and their hooders to come forward and begin hooding. Francis Weld Peabody is the author of the immortal 1920s article called The Care of the Patient, in which he wrote the words that the secret of the care of the patient is in caring for the patient. Keep that in mind. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Advisory Dean of the Peabody Society, Dr. Bernard Chang.
Good afternoon. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you the class of 2019 graduating students from the Peabody Society. Assisting in hooding our students are Dr. Beverly Wu, Dr. Holly Ketchadurian-Elia, and the inaugural and founding head of Peabody Society, Dr. Ronald Arkey. Dr. Amir Ameri. Dr. Soraya Azawi. Dr. Christopher Callahan. Dr. Joshua Caldwell. Dr. Kelly Chacon. Dr. Michael Chilazzi. Dr. Alexandra Giantini Larson. Dr. Alyssa Greusser. Dr. Anand Habib. Dr. Leangelo Hall. Dr. Maya Harari. Dr. Robert Hayden. Also receiving the Master of Public Health degree, Dr. Jae-ho Wang. Dr. Magdalena Ivanova. Also receiving the Master of Science degree, Dr. Otana Jakpour. Dr. Ariel Cushman. Also receiving the Master of Business Administration, Dr. Daniel Liebman. Also receiving the Master of Public Health degree, Dr. Diego Lopez. Also receiving the Master of Business Administration degree, Dr. Tracy Liu. Dr. Alejandra Marquez Loza. Dr. Anna Morens. Dr. Cameron Nutt. Also receiving the Master of Business Administration degree, Dr. David Osayande. Dr. Sagar Raju. Dr. Lauren Schleimer. Also receiving the Master of Public Policy degree, Dr. Megan Townsend. Also receiving the Master of Business Administration degree, Dr. Eugene Vios. Dr. Octavio Viramontes. Dr. Jonathan Webster. Dr. Kara Young. Dr. Biki Zhang. One more round of applause, please, for our Peabody Society graduates.
How about one more round of applause for all the graduates, Harvard School of Dental Medicine, Harvard Medical School.
Beautiful. Fantastic, fantastic.
Now the time has come to take the oath. Since the time of Hippocrates, that's over 2,000 years ago, medical practitioners have taken an oath to uphold the principles to which they dedicate themselves. In setting forth these principles, the oath serves both as a contract with the community and as an affirmation of a deep commitment to the profession. Today, class of 2019, you stand before family, friends, teachers, colleagues, poised to join a rich tradition of discovery and healing. Being mindful of the debt you owe to the mentorship of those who came before you, while recognizing that your work will inform the practices of those who follow, you have created an oath drawing on elements both ancient and recent. I now invite you as a class to stand and articulate the ideals and principles that will guide you in your journey as physicians and dentists.
Today, upon being admitted to the professions of medicine and dentistry, I pledge to honor to the best of my ability and judgment this oath. I make these promises to you, my patients, to uphold your dignity. I will listen with curiosity and without judgment, recognizing that behind every illness is a human story. I will respect your privacy and treat you with kindness, empathy, and humility. I will empower you, I will give you voice, and offer you choice. I will cure when possible, heal to the extent that I am capable, and comfort you always. To offer my best self, I will remember that I am worthy of this profession and the privilege of caring for you. I will embrace my imperfections with compassion, viewing them not as failures, but as opportunities for growth. I will practice and promote self-care, openly sharing my vulnerabilities to create safe spaces for healing. I will be courageous and willing to risk failure, admit error, and ask for forgiveness. To foster collaboration and mutuality, I will work with others on your team, united by the common goal of caring for you. I will recognize the expertise of your lived experience and share decisions in partnership with you. I will ask for help when I reach the boundaries of my abilities and offer help to those reaching theirs. I will cultivate a culture of resilience, advocating for structural changes to support my profession. To practice the highest quality of care, I will be a lifelong learner, recognizing that medicine is an ever-changing art and science. I will advance knowledge through scholarship and innovation, guided by integrity. I will celebrate the hard-earned progress made by those who came before me and share this learning with those who seek it. To care for all, I will embrace my citizenship in humanity and my obligation to act for the benefit of all human beings. I will challenge my biases, striving to provide care that is inclusive of all aspects of identity. I will combat structural oppression, promote social justice, and model ethical action. I will leverage my position of privilege to comfort and restructure systems that fail you. I stand with my peers in solidarity, united by our professions and these promises. I celebrate where I have come from and look to the future with hope. With gratitude to all who have supported me, I take this oath freely, joyfully, and upon my honor.
And it is a great honor to send you out into the world today to practice in good faith that for which you have so diligently trained. Let me be one of the first to officially welcome you, my fellow doctors, into the profession. I wish you long, noble, and productive careers. The world will be a better place because you are in it. Congratulations on this day. And enjoy the evening.
That was fantastic. Great graduation. Yes. Wow. You will never forget this. Oh, great job. I'm so excited. Wow. Phenomenal. Amazing. We did it. We did it. Thank you very much. Wow. Wow.
Again? This girl needs some bobby pins.
Woohoo!
Jill.
Oh, I guess.